Hello, my friends, Gary Goers and fellow poets. Welcome back to Conversing with Poets. Hello, everybody. Whoop, my alarm just went off. I can barely hear myself think right now because it's chucking it down with rain, and of course, as you guys probably know, I'm in a plastic shed, so it makes a lot of noise. So I can hardly hear myself think at the moment, but we'll get through it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hello, little Danny, aka Miss Pepper. I'm not sure what happened there. Hello, little Danny. Hello, Del Girl. Hello, class. Hello, Dazzle. Hello, Genevieve. Del Girl. I think I said Del Girl, but hello, everybody. If you are watching and you have yet to hit the like button, I would really appreciate it if you could do that. Please do hit the like button. It's completely free, but it does really help me, and it takes just a few seconds, so why wouldn't you? We currently have 8 people watching and only 1 like. Breaking my heart. Good thing you have a good mic then, yes. Woo, good mic. Good mic. Yes. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream. Welcome to this weekend's live stream. If you were here last week, you will know that our poetry prompt for this evening was Purple Haze, which was inspired by all of this going on here, and also Purple Rain, which featured in the last episode of Stranger Things, which was very much in the back of my mind at the time of last week's stream. So Purple Haze was the prompt. If you're just joining us and you didn't know that, I will give you guys about 5 to 10 minutes, depending. Let's say 7 minutes. To quickly pen a poem based on the prompt Purple Haze. While we wait for everybody to join us this evening. And we got lots of news bulletins, news headlines for you this evening. And then we're going to talk about why poetry matters now more than ever. I can't remember if we've done this. I'm sure we have done this at some point, but I can't remember if we've done it recently. So if we have, I apologize, but why poetry matters now more than ever. Not 7.5 and really split the difference. I'm going to give you 7.5 minutes. I'm going to give you 7 minutes and 26 seconds. Starting from now. No, not starting from now. Starting from when I mentioned it. Hi, a poet. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you, a poet. How are you doing? What have you all been up to this weekend? Let me know. And yes, we now have 10 people watching, but still only 3 likes. So if you enjoy this stream at any point, please do hit that like button. It really helps. And by the way, if you haven't seen the new video on the channel, we only got about 73 views. So if you weren't aware, if you didn't get a notification, there is a new video on the channel. So go and check that out after the stream. Otherwise, let me know what you guys are up to this weekend, or you have done this weekend, depending on where you are in your weekend. Some of you may just be starting your day, in which case you've still got a whole day of your weekend left. But if you're like me, you're unwinding and coming to the end of the weekend. Tonight, I'm going to an open mic comedy show. Nice! Open mic is in comedy open mic, I guess. When I read open mic, my brain automatically goes to poetry open mic. But if it's a comedy show, I would imagine that it's a comedy open mic. But that sounds cool. That sounds fun. You got 10 minutes left. Danny's just changing the time. Danny's just overruling me. Me and my 7 minutes and 26 seconds. Poetry, Purple Haze is the prompt from last week. So yeah, at about 7 minutes past the hour. It's currently 4 minutes past the hour. At 7 minutes past the hour, we will start. That's so specific. I know, guys. I know. I don't know why I'm like this. But at 7 minutes past the hour, we'll start throwing some poems into the chat. I started taking a statistics class in college. It's been really nice so far. That's awesome, a poet. Yeah, open mic for comedy. Not done anything. Not with this storm hitting us. Yeah, we got some crazy weather here in the UK at the moment. I've been working like always, upside down smile. We was meant to go and have our Christmas with family today, but UK weather said no. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that you missed out on family dinner. Hey, I posted that when you said 10 minutes. Oh, it only just came through. My bad, my bad. Or I only just saw it, more likely. I only just saw it. All right, 2 minutes left for the Purple Haze prompt challenge. Purple haze, purple haze. Yeah. Aside from working, I've been job hunting. Okay, okay. Are you looking for anything specific, or are you just waiting to see what happens? Just waiting to see what's on the job market? What does a statistics course entail? A poet? What are you, how do you, what do you learn from that, from a statistics class? Just like how to use them? How to use statistics. Da, 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 da. That's what you learn in statistics class. That's the song. That's the curriculum. Singing a song and shaking the shoulders. It's about collecting, organizing, presenting, and interpreting data. Nice. Been applying for admin jobs at the moment because of my hands. I need to step away from grooming for a bit. I am sorry to hear that because I know how much you love your job. That's the musical theatre version of stats. Yeah, that's the musical theatre class of stats. Do I remember correctly? Was I in a really big, like, musical theatre vibe last week? That reminds me. I think I was. All right, I'll add one to that. I'll add one because technically I didn't open my mouth, so it doesn't really count. My New Year's resolution was to be better at this. Like how to find stuff out using studies and understand study data. Nice. That might have been a stealth yawn. 0.25. I love that. Can we do 0.25s and 0.5s? I love that. Things are gonna get crazy if we start doing points. 0.5, 0.25, 0.253. No, I'm not gonna think about it. Damn it. Dang it, that was definitely two. All right, no more thinking about it. Your New Year's resolution was to do better than this. We're not even 10 minutes into this stream. I hope I can get back into it later on in life. We'll see. I'm sure you can. Maybe you just need a little rest, a little recoup, and then you will be back grooming those dogs. It's probably just going to make you yawn more. I know. I know. I know. That's why I'm going to pretend it doesn't. I'm going to look down so I don't see the word, and I'm not going to pay attention to it. Yeah, you're absolutely right, a poet. Of course. Okay, so it is 9 minutes past the hour, so I've gone 2 minutes over my specified time limit. That is probably true. Oh God, Adam. 2, not even 10 minutes in. I know, I know, I know. No more talking about it. I'm going to look down and not pay attention. Sounds like my school days. Right, it's 10 minutes past the hour. It's 10 past 7, which means we are 3 minutes over. Thank you so much for those hearts coming in. That's how I'm going to combat this with song. With song. Thank you so much for those hearts coming in. I did see those. All right. So if you have a poem based on the prompt Purple Haze, now is the time to throw them into the chat. Please. Throw your poems into the chat on Purple Haze, which was last week's poetry prompt. Thank you, class. Straight in there. Nice one. Poem. Purple Haze. Mind in a blaze, going through a giant maze, labyrinth exchange. Nice, thank you very much, class. I'm just waiting for the person who's just reworded a couple of things in Purple Rain. I actually don't know the lyrics to Purple Rain. Yep, combating it with song. I actually don't know the lyrics to Purple Rain. Purple Rain, Purple Rain. And that's all I know. Thank you so much for those hearts coming in. I appreciate it. Oh, now you're going to make me blush. They're still coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Whoever is doing that, they're still going. Thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness, they're still going. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, I'll give you some love back here. Have some love. Have some Gary Girl love. And they're still going. Thank you. Appreciate it. Purple haze, mind in a blaze, going through a giant maze. Labyrinth exchange. Suddenly realizing I also literally don't know anything other than Purple Rain either. There are other lyrics to that song, right? If neither of us can think of any other lyrics, then I guess they just don't exist. There is a lot of love going on in the chat right now. The Gary Goyle love. And now we're having a party. The poet says, I don't even know what this song is. Prince. Purple Rain by Prince is a very famous song in the 80s. But I just now realize I don't know any of the words other than Purple Rain. It featured in the last episode of Stranger Things, if you watched that. I keep accidentally pressing the smile, face palm, laugh, me and my fat thumbs. Hello, Mitchell Malone is in the house and sharing the love. Artist formerly known as Prince. Prince. All right, do we just have the one poem this week? Do we have just the one poem from class on Purple Haze? To be fair, I just looked it up. He does say Purple Rain 7 times in the chorus. Well, no less than 7 times. There you have it. No less than 7 times. Those hearts still coming in. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Mitch. Here, have some more love. Have some love. There you go. I don't know any other lyric either. I'm going to have to look this up. Hang on. Purple Rain lyrics. Oh, purple lyrics. Rain. Purple Rain lyrics. Oh, yeah, of course, the opening. I never meant to cause you in sorrow. Yeah, of course. Now I've seen it. The intro. And there are only 9 other words total in the chorus. Amazing. Amazing. All right, do we only have the one poem this week? I'll give it another minute just to see if any more poems come in. Otherwise, we will move on. Now that I've looked them up, I can kind of hear the verses, but yeah. Yeah, I just looked at the counter. Hang on, I got to look down. Nothing happened. Yeah, now I've looked them up. Yeah, as soon as I Googled it and I didn't even click on the lyric sheet, I saw the opening. I was like, oh yeah, of course. Ah, there we go. Herb is in the building. Hello, Herb. Poem. My words like nails, feedback hammers, screaming in my face. My pen shrouded in purple haze. Nice. Thank you very, very much. Hello. Mic drop. That is one way to make an entrance. Herb, welcome, welcome, welcome to this week's stream. All right. I guess it's time to move on to our breaking news section. Wait, I forgot to change this. Actually, how do I want to do this? Next time, next time. We'll do it next time. For now, we'll just go back to how we used to do it. Like this. Hello, everybody. I forgot that we had changed the setup for this. My bad. Anyway, breaking news. Hello, everyone. All right, we got a few BBC articles here. The first one is our old pal, our old chum is back on the channel, and that is Dylan Thomas. And the headline here is Dylan Thomas plagiarized other poets repeatedly as a schoolboy. This is just in. Dylan Thomas copied other poets' work and published it under his own name as a schoolboy. Wait, he was published as a schoolboy? According to an author and publicist who has delved into the iconic Welsh poet's earliest works, Alessandro Galenzi made the shock plagiarism discovery, which he described as wholesale, while he was editing a new collection of Thomas's poetry. The young Thomas was an enthusiastic contributor to Swansea Grammar School's magazine. Okay. After joining as an 11-year-old in 1925. But Galenzi found at least a dozen examples where Thomas had copied wholesale from work published in other magazines. Okay. It's incredibly interesting from a biographical, personal, and psychological perspective, he said. And there he is. This discovery was first made by Galenzi's editor, Alex Middleton, after they were given access to one of only two known complete collections of Thomas's school magazine in Swansea, owned by Jeff Hayden, president of the Dylan Thomas Society. My heart stopped. We were close to finishing the collection and we had to go back and start from scratch. Oops. Oh no. They discovered that 12 poems published while Thomas was at school were someone else's work. And Galenzi said he believed there could be as many as 20 to 40. Wow. Well, there you go. He was a crook, among many other things. Audacious. We found a poem which he managed to get published himself in Boy's Own. Boy's Own, not Boy's Own, the band. And remember, this was a nationally read magazine, but was a copy of a poem already published in Boy's Own 15 years before. Well, there you have it, everybody. Dylan Thomas was a child plagiarist in school. Let me just catch up on chat. A guy's got to make a pound. Perhaps Thomas was a ghostwriter. You never know. How old was he at the time? About 11 years old. So we can kind of let him off. He was about 11 years old. He was in school. Ah, these schoolboys, eh? Moral of the story, don't rip off other people's poems, words, for it will bite you in the butt eventually. Yes, the truth will always come out. The truth will always come out. Believe you me. So, yeah, Dylan Thomas stole poems as a schoolboy and got them published in his school magazine. And from what I think from what I read, maybe some other magazines as well. Didn't it say it was a nationally read boys' own? Unless, well, managed to get published himself in a nationally read magazine. Oh, nice. You're a legend. Thank you so much, Herb Hagel. You are indeed a legend. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It is really, really, genuinely so much appreciated. So thank you very, very much for that, Herb. All right, our next headline is Poems on the Underground marks 40th anniversary. So it's another UK headline. But yeah, over here in the UK, the Tube, the Underground is our subway. It's our train line under the ground, underground. And we've had this thing for 40 years where poems get published as like advertisements on the inside the trains, poems on the underground. And they've been going for 40 years. We're celebrating the 40th anniversary. They are credited with bringing creative inspiration to millions every day. A simple idea that has been copied in cities across the world. In 1986, the first poems on the Underground appeared in tube carriages, and both commuters and visitors to London have been pondering their meaning ever since. Transport for London will be marking the 40th anniversary of this Art for All project with new works, poetry readings, and displays of poems at London Underground stations. TfL said the programme helps to make journeys more stimulating and inspiring by showcasing a range of poetry in tube train carriages across London. The poems are selected by Judith Chernake, the American writer who came up with the idea of poems on the Underground, along with poets George Sertz and Imtiaz Darka. The project has inspired copycats in Paris, New York, Beijing, Shanghai, Warsaw, and Moscow. The first poems which appeared in 1986 were Up in the Up in the Morning Early by Robert Burns, Ozymandias by Shelley, This Is Just to Say by William Carlos Williams, The Railway Children by Seamus Heaney, and Like a Beacon by Grace Nichols. Yeah, as always, I won't read the entire article for you, but I will leave you with it, assuming you now have the link in the chat, which I'm sure you do because our mods are amazing. That's so cool. When I was in New York a while back, I discovered they started doing that on the subway as well. Yes. Oh, we do that here in Toronto, Canada, on the subways, which reminds me, I've been meaning to write a poem for those. You absolutely should, class. Yeah, they're really cool. I've seen whenever I travel on the tube, I usually see them, if not all the time, at least pretty frequently. So that's amazing that they've been going for 40 years. I didn't realize they've been going for that long. So we're celebrating the 40th anniversary this year, so that's cool. Definitely didn't disguise a yawn in the middle of that, folks. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Our next headline is Poet Flabbergasted by London Fireworks Request. A spoken word poet whose work was used during London's New Year's Eve fireworks display said he was flabbergasted by having his words heard by millions. This is What England Means to Me by Sonny Green or Sunny Green, went viral on social media last September, exploring British identity and culture through Green's eyes. The 30-year-old from Southend-on-Sea was asked by the Mayor of London's office if part of his work could be used during the annual display at the London Eye. "It's like you think your mates are pranking you," he said. "I almost put the phone down. I almost said, 'Are you winding me up?' I was completely kind of flabbergasted, really." Green's original poem, which he created in response to what he called heightened political commentary last year, was viewed hundreds of thousands of times. He worked on creating a shortened version of his poem for the display, which takes place each year on London's South Bank and centres on the London Eye. I think 4 years back, I remember seeing another poet deliver their work whilst walking on Millennium Bridge, maybe? Jubilee Bridge? I'm not sure. But I remember that as well. So it's nice that poetry really does play such a big role in these events. It reminds me of something. I just started a project where I'm writing an imitation of pounds in a station of the metro every school day on the bus. It's a metro bus. Nice. Took the TTC tube for the first time in years. I like the new cars. Of course, it was Saturday afternoon. No crowd. Wait, I don't know if you're being sarcastic there. No crowd on a Saturday on the tube? It would be very, very crowded. So either you're being sarcastic or things are very different over there. In which case, I'm happy for you because Saturdays on the tube is wild. Okay, our next headline. A big bad bull whipped me down. Cowboy poetry, old art form of the US West, lassos a new generation. From Los Angeles to Nevada, younger people are preserving a long-standing tradition, one lyric at a time. Deep in the heart of Los Angeles' Koreatown, just a few doors down from H Mart and a K-pop music superstore, an American flag hangs over the entrance of a saloon called Eastwood. The Western-themed bar would normally be cranking, excuse me, would normally be cranking Luke Bryan while customers play skee ball. I'm not sure what skee ball is. Maybe someone in the chat who knows might be able to explain it to me. Skee ball. Line dance and get bucked off their mechanical bull named Gucci. But tonight, the music is low and the loudest sounds come from the clacking of vintage mechanical typewriters. Interesting. About 30 people in the bar are drafting poems about horses, sunsets, and Stetson hats. I love it. Which are plentiful atop the heads in the crowd. I love it, love it, love it. They're here to take part in Cowboy Poetry Los Angeles, a collective dedicated to preserving the history of the American West through authentic storytelling. For city slickers unfamiliar with cowboy poetry, is a folk art that emerged from oral traditions around the 1870s during long cattle drives west from Texas. Men would trade stories and sing songs about their adventures on the frontier. Love it. Love it, love it. As always, I'm not going to read the full article. There's some cool photos in here. Uh, On this warm August night at Eastwood Cowboy Poetry, LA's co-founder, Amir Beardsley, 31, takes the stage. Though he's often backed by music, today he's performing solo to give a crisp demonstration of the art form and chooses to recite his poem Black Friday about the bull that nearly ended his pro rodeo career. Quote, "Heck, they thought they killed me back in 15, flew me out in a chopper, covered me with a sheet. A big bad bull whipped me down and sent me whirling, whirling all around." End quote. He holds the microphone confidently as he paces on the stage, reciting the poem in a calm, rhythmic cadence. All right. So I'll leave you to read the rest of this. That guy looks cool. There's some really cool photos in this article, guys. I want to sit in a room filled with clacking typewriters. I have cowboy poetry and a Stetson. Nice. It's so like bowling meets darts. That's a weird. Oh, this was that game I wasn't sure about. Okay. It's sort of like bowling meets darts. That's a weird explanation, but best I can think of. You roll a ball up a ramp and try to get it in the rings. Oh, I think I've seen this before. Worth different points. I've seen this before. Looking up if you guys just call it something different there. I wonder if yeah, I've seen it before. Apparently some places they call it alley roller or skeeter's ball. Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. I know the game. I know the game. Okay. Um we have one final bit of news that I've kind of been trying to figure out uh, how we address this on stream. Obviously. Oh wait, no. Wait. We'll do. We'll do the other thing first. Hamnet movie. The Hamnet movie came out yesterday, 2 days ago. Came out no, yeah, it came out on Friday, and it's now Sunday, so it came out 2 days ago. And I went to go and see it on my own on a Saturday night. Oh well, who cares? Whatever. I went to see it yesterday and it was amazing. It was like pure cinema. The storytelling, the shots, the cinematography, the acting, oh my goodness, everything was really, really good. The writing was really, really good. I obviously knowing a bit about Shakespeare, I knew like he had a son. The what I know about Hamnet was that he's officially his death record was officially put down to the plague. But there is like everything with Shakespeare, I guess, there is sort of some question marks in that there was no outbreak of the plague in Stratford upon Avon at the time, um, which is kind of odd. You know, you never really had just the one outbreak. If you had an outbreak of plague, the Black Death, you know, it, it was spreading pretty rapidly around the town. But the official note is the Black Death. So I've just now realised that that might have been a spoiler for folks. So I apologise if it was. If you saw my Shakespeare on the Hunt video, I actually speak about it in that video. So if you saw that, then maybe you knew. If you didn't know at all, I've just spoiled it for you, and I apologize. I deeply apologize. The only criticism I have about that film, and it's only because I'm a Shakespeare nerd, one of those, oh, I'm that guy, and I am that guy. The only criticism I would have about the film is that well, is that Anne Hathaway was an older, not an older lady, but she was older than Shakespeare. And when Shakespeare met Anne Hathaway, he was like 18, 19, I think. He's definitely a lot older in the film. But I'm going to put that down to just the filmmakers making a decision that we want to keep the same actor throughout the whole film and to build that connection with the audience. So it's just a small niggly accuracy thing, but that's just me being like really particular. Otherwise, it's such a good film, and I've just seen this. Nice. You're a legend. Thank you so much, Dazzle in the Dark, or Dazzle Daryl, for fully. 4.99 super chat is really, really genuinely appreciated. Like I said with Herb as well, it is really, really appreciated. So thank you so much for your generosity. But yeah, otherwise, if you're thinking of going to see Hamnet, if you really want a human story, if you really want to feel connected to humanity, go and watch that film. It's glorious, it's beautiful, it's heart-wrenching. Um, like the whole row behind me were all sniffing with tears and stuff, and I was holding back the tears as well. But there was a few snotty noses behind us from people crying. It's just a beautiful story. It's great, great storytelling, and yeah, I fully recommend it if you can get down and see it. Great sets, great costumes, great acting, great directing, great photography. It's really great. I believe it is. They have received a few nods. No, is that the right? What's the right phrase? There's a lot of Oscar talk around it and award talk around it, and I can see why. I can see why. The actress is phenomenal, by the way. The actress is like, holy crap, good. Okay, our next piece of news, which is like breaking news around the world this week. And again, I'm kind of trying to figure out how to segue into it and how to segue out of it as well. I'm sure you have all heard about the the murder of a poet called Renee Nicole Good. And what I don't think has been massively reported on is that she was an award-winning poet. She won an award in 2020 from the Academy of American Poets for a poem called On Learning to Dissect Fetal Pigs. And I think it's only right that we kind of sit with this and discuss this and I'd like to share this poem with the stream. Um, and then I'll say a few more things. But for now, this is On Learning to Dissect Fetal Pigs by Renee Nicole Good, which is award-winning poem. I want back my rocking chairs, solipsist sunsets, and coastal jungle sounds that are tercets from cicadas and pentameter from the hairy legs of cockroaches. I've donated Bibles to thrift stores, mashed them into plastic trash bags with an acidic Himalayan salt lamp. The post-baptism Bibles, the ones plucked from street corners from the meaty hands of zealots, the dumbed down, easy to read, parasitic kind. Remember more the slick rubber smell of high-gloss biology textbook pictures. They burned the hairs inside my nostrils, and salt and ink that rubbed off on my palms. Under clippings of the moon at 2:45 a.m. I study and repeat ribosome endoplasmic lactic acid stamen at the IHOP on the corner of Powers and Stetson Hills. I repeated and scribbled until it picked its way and stagnated somewhere I can't point to anymore. Maybe my gut. Maybe there, in between my pancreas and large intestine, is the piddly brook of my soul. It's the ruler by which I reduce all things now, hard-edged and splintering from knowledge, that used to sit, a cloth against fevered forehead. Can I let them both be? This fickle faith in this college science that heckles from the back of the classroom. Now I can't believe that the Bible and Quran and Bhagavad Gita are sliding long hairs behind my ear like mum used to, and exhaling from their mouths. Make room for wonder. All my understanding dribbles down the chin onto the chest and is summarized as life is merely to ovum and sperm, and where those two meet, and how often and how well, and what dies there. And that is On Learning to Dissect Fetal Pigs by Renee Nicole Good. So the reason we have the rule on the channel not to talk about politics and not to talk about religion is purely down to the fact that they are the two most divisive subjects in the world. And usually what I want this channel to be, what I want this space to be, what I want these streams to be, is a place where we can forget about the outside world for just 2 hours every weekend. Forget about everything that's going on. Forget the outside world. Forget the politics. Forget, everything. And just focus on poetry and our common interests and our common joys, our shared joys. But eventually, things spiral so far out of control that not necessarily ignoring it, but not acknowledging it, the silence becomes complicity. And if complicity is a bit too strong of a word, endorsement. And so it's gotten to a point now where things are so crazy. The news coming out on a daily is so concerning, is so outrageous, that I just wanted to make it clear that I think it's very dangerous. I think what's happening is disgusting, and fuck Trump, basically. I Yeah, again, I think that's all I'll say. But it's, I guess I'm also wary of the fact, not wary, I'm also conscious of the fact that it took the death of a poet for me to finally say something. And I do have some stats in front of me. Because I don't think it's fair to just focus on one person who's lost their life. There have been multiple people who have lost their life. In 2025, 30 people. In 2024, 11. In 2023, 7. In 2022, 3. So a huge spike. And it's escalating, which is why I kind of wanted to make sure that I at least said my piece before we move on and get back to poetry and just having a good time. Um, I am not looking at the chat right now, so I don't know what's going on in the chat. Um, and if I lose subscribers for saying fuck Trump, whatever, I don't really care. Um, that's my piece. Rest in peace. Uh, and yeah, we'll get back to regular scheduling. We'll get back to our stream. But yeah, rest in peace, Renee. At the Christmas dinner table, do not talk about religion, politics, and the XXX. Okay, difficult to segue into, difficult to segue out of as well. Um, but I hope you understand. I hope people understand the why I felt compelled to do that. Why I felt that it needed acknowledging, and we'll just move on and get back to things as they usually are with these streams. So, what have I brought to the table in terms of I've been signed out of the mod card? What did I bring in terms of part one? I'll tell you in just a second when I can get back to mod card, or someone can tell me what is in the title. I've forgotten already. Herb asking a dangerous question there. Why poetry matters more now than ever. I feel like we might have discussed something along these lines previously. Thank you, little Danny. But hopefully not recently enough. So I've got an article here, Why Poetry Matters Now More Than Ever, a journey through the art of feeling. In a world that often feels fragmented and overwhelmed by the cacophony of daily life, poetry emerges as a beacon of clarity and connection. It's a form of expression that transcends boundaries, languages, and cultures, reaching deep into the human soul. I just now realized something funny, at least it's funny to me. The more we do these streams, the harder it is to think of fresh ideas. And when you do think of ideas like this one, I've just realized I hope that I haven't shared this article with you as well. Excuse me. The timeless voice of humanity. Poetry is the voice of humanity across ages, from the epic tales of Homer to the reflective sonnets of Shakespeare and the poignant verses of Maya Angelou. Poetry has always been the medium through which we explore our deepest emotions, question the status quo, and seek understanding in a complex world. In today's fast paced digital age, poetry provides a sanctuary for reflection and a momentary pause in a rushed life. Dangerous times call for dangerous lines. I love that. I love that, Herb. Is that one of yours, or did you borrow that from somewhere? You didn't borrow that from a magazine, did like Dylan Thomas? Everything has been done before. It doesn't mean we can't do it again. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Is the stream struggling, by the way? My preview is like going 1 frame per second right now, and I have got the notification here that the stream is struggling. Let me know if your stream is struggling too. So why does poetry matter now more than ever? Right now, we're in the surge of a new renaissance. Yes, renaissance. Yeah, I read that somewhere actually. Class, I read that somewhere. I also heard about five, well, no, even longer than that. I can't time keep anymore. Anyone else out there? Mine is glitching a lot. Thought it was on my side. No, it's definitely struggling. It's definitely struggling. I mean, we got really bad weather right now, so keeps glitching randomly, possibly due to the rain we're having. Yeah. I read about 7, 8 years ago that we were having a new romantic era, the romantics, you know? But yeah, the world is changing a lot. Yours is glitching too. Dang. Hold on. Glitching, glitching, the world is glitching. The world is indeed glitching. The musical theatre side of me is back. The musical theatre side of me is back. I'm just watching. Sorry, I completely zoned out there. I feel I completely zoned out there for a second watching the preview, and I was just like, one frame a second. My stream is not struggling. My pond is overflowing with rainwater, though. Oh, well, that's not good. At least you've got a good stream. Your pond might be running away, but you've got stream. You've got Adam Gary poetry stream. What is the UK weather you're talking about? Right now, it's very. I don't know. Hey, UK is in the chat. Oh, is it officially a storm? I don't know if it's been classed as storm, but it's very rough weather. We got crazy winds. We got crazy winds. We got lots of rain. Rain is probably that's nothing new, but the wind is very strong at the minute. A gentle flake drifts by my window. Herb is definitely feeling the poetic muse right now. So, why is poetry important now more than ever? I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling. Hang on. Sorry, it was just in the mod chat. Oh, is the UK so small that you all get the same weather? Pretty much. Not quite, not quite. We do have different weather patterns, and funnily enough, where I lived last week, where I live had snow, and 10 minutes down the road had no snow. So we do have different weather patterns, but for the most part, uh, yeah, if it's raining down south, a few hours later it'll probably be raining up north. Although up north get really bad weather. Up north gets really bad weather. It kind of dies off by the time it reaches the south. Having said that, Cornwall, which is the southwest, so if you imagine the UK, um, it'll be mirrored to you guys, but I got to draw it to me. You got the top up here, which is Scotland, and then it comes down into England, and then you've got that little tail over here. It's got like a tail. That's Cornwall. I've got family down in Cornwall. They got it really bad right now. Trees are blowing over and everything. It's windy and raining. We had Storm Goretti, I think. It was not sure if it's the tail end of that, but the weather is poor here. The UK has different weather depending on north and south. Yeah. For example, Scotland and Cornwall get really bad weather. Yeah, I was just saying about Cornwall get really bad weather. Luckily, for whatever reason, I guess it's just geographical placement. It's still kind of rough here, but for whatever reason, it doesn't really get too bad in London. Weather is top of mind, irrelevant of the season, harmless small talk, like we need a reason. Herb is just like, Herb is just in the corner riffing, just writing verse. Like, I love it. Herb is the stream bard. Herb is the stream bard tonight. So keep asking, why is poetry important now more than ever? I was expecting a lot of people to say things like, and it's not true. It's very much true. Things like, to stick it to the man, like rock and roll, and to capture societal feelings and motions, if you like. But also, it can also be like escapism, right? Reading and writing poetry about things that are forgotten about during heightened times is just a reminder of nice things like harmless small talk. I'm just taking it from Herb's lines. You know, winter, trees, during the spring, you've got blooms and stuff like that. It can also be a nice bit of escapism, right? Of course, poetry has always been there throughout history, as it has all art, as has I'm reading Shakespeare's biography still. Yeah, I'm still working my way through it bit by bit. plays, have all paintings have always sort of reflected their times, but they can also just be nice bits of escapism. The conscience of the masses. Overall, though, UK weather sucks. It's always too cold in winter and too hot in summer, and 9 times out of 10 it's raining. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. We get good weather for about a week in the spring where everything is perfect. 7 days of perfection, and then it's gone in the blink of an eye. Okay, so let me set the prompt. We are coming up to the hour mark. Let me set the prompt for next week. With everything being said tonight, I thought I was going to go in a lot harder than I did about certain things. And then it came to it, and I just thought the more important thing is to pay our respects than me kind of just let it go and let it all out. Uh, so in light of that, I thought the prompt for next week which should be hope. Because as dark as things are at the moment over there, I am there is a light. There is still a light over there, seeing so many people take to the streets and fight as they should for their country. And I saw today, I didn't know this was going on. I don't know if it's, I know they've been doing it for a while, but I don't know if the news has just broke. But I saw today that even the monks, even the Tibetan monks, the Buddhist monks, I don't know if they're Tibetan, but even the Buddhist monks have left their temple and going on I think it was something like a 2,000-mile walk. Like that's serious, guys. That's not just a sponsored walk by Dave next door. To get the monks out of their temple to go on a peace walk, um, is fantastic, and it's great to see. So the prompt for next week is hope, because there is hope. As dark as it is, there is hope. And unless anything kicks off in the chat that people want to express, we will leave it there. Beef jerky and hard tack. We get like a week of good weather in each season. If this is the most British thing, you guys, a poet, if you're still in the chat, you've set the Brits off. We love talking about weather. Once we get talking about weather, we don't stop. Um, we get like a week of good weather in each season if we're lucky. That's why the Brits are so goofy, because otherwise we would all be depressed with the weather being so moody all the time. Absolutely. All right, I'll leave it there for this evening, guys. As yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a stream. It was a stream. Thank you so much for your time. Herb, thank you so much for your super chat. Dazzle, thank you so much for your super chat. I'll give it a few more minutes. It feels, I think Canadians are similar regarding weather talk, right? Are you really? Love a good weather convo. Yeah, yeah. I think we've spoken more about weather than poetry this evening. So unless anyone has anything they want to contribute to the chat, Even if it's not regarding the topic I brought. I guess the topic didn't really unlock much this evening, so that's my fault. I apologize. If anyone has anything they want to talk about poetry-wise, you can quickly put it into the chat. Otherwise, it's a little bit quiet, so I will leave you to your evenings and the rest of your weekend. I keep thinking that I'm glad to be a Californian. It kind of feels like a bit of a haven. Good weather, accepting people. I've been finding myself more patriotic toward California than to US. Yes, I spent some time in California. I was mostly in LA. And yeah, so I was in LA for a little bit, and then I went to Santa Monica, which I think is classed as a different city. I think Santa Monica is a different city rather than LA, but it's like right next to it, right? Giving you some Canadian winter sun. Some Canadian winter sun. What is that? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Winter sun. I apologize if the stream is still glitchy. I'm watching my preview and it's not even 1 frame per second. It's like going back to our decimal points, Genevieve. It's like 0.25 frames per second at the minute. I lived in Northern California for years, a fun artistic time. I loved Santa Monica's like artistic vibe. I'm told it's changed a lot since I was there. When was I there? I think I was there in 2017. No, it could have been 2015. Maybe 2015, between 2015 and 2017, somewhere around that time. Weather seems to me like what you talk about when you don't have anything else to say. That's literally the UK. That's UK small talk. Weather's, hi, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm good. You? Yeah, good. Weather's a bit crap. And then you just talk about the weather. So anything else to say? Like what I do when I have to talk to grandparents. Remember, you can continue the conversation once the stream is over in Adam's new Discord channel. Yeah, do come over and say hello to on the Discord. Slow mo stream, yeah. Yeah, Santa Monica is part of LA. Oh, LA County, but it's its own city next to LA City. Got you. So California is the state, LA County is the county, and LA the city. Yeah. Because Beverly Hills is also a different city. It's wild. Took a minute to get my head around that. What really took me a minute to get my head around is the fact that you can turn right at red lights. So in the UK, red lights, you're stopping, you're not allowed to go. But I was driving in LA and I was stopped at a red light and I was just chilling, red light means stop. And then a car behind me was tooting me. I was like, what is going on? And the guy was getting really like angry. And then eventually I came to realize that you're allowed to turn right at red lights. Oh, I miss my grandparents. I'm sorry, Cass. There's also Culver City. I don't know Culver City and Beverly Hills, which are the same way. Beverly Hills is completely surrounded by LA City. Right. I think even some states international some states in the US you can't turn right. Ah, okay. Tooting you. Melting. What's wrong with tooting? Beeping, bibbing, horning sounds wrong. What do you call it then? Are you taking the mickey out of my tooting? What else would you call it? I don't know what else you'd call it. Yeah, you have to stop, but then you can make the turn when it's still red because you're not in any other car's way, right? Yeah, that confused me. Honking, there you go. Okay, of course, honking. Tooting here means farting. I think it also means farting here as well. Yeah, tooting. There's also a place called Tooting. Oh, I haven't listened to the Rolling Stones in a long time. They, can I still class them as my favorite band? Yeah, I guess so. I just haven't listened to them for a while. Although I think that was a cover. All right, folks, that's it from me. Thanks so much for your time. Herb, you're a legend. Daryl, you're a legend. Everyone, you're all amazing. Thank you so much. Canadians talk like Americans and spell like English people from the UK. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I guess so. I'm just trying to think like fun evening. I don't know what I'm thinking about. I don't know what I'm thinking of. I know that people across the UK will thank you for making that slash and differentiation. All right, thank you so much for your time this evening. Remember, next week's poetry prompt is hope. So we only had like 2 poems this week. So do, if you feel like it, if you find yourself with some spare time, write a poem for next week based on hope. Uh, Otherwise, that's it from me. Thank you so much for your time this evening. If you're working on something, happy writing. If you're not working on something, may you start to write. Maybe start. May start to work on something. Otherwise, good night, good afternoon, maybe even good morning wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you next time.
Wow.
Genevieve just reminded me in the chat. Hopefully, some of you are still here and haven't immediately clicked off. Genevieve just reminded me in the chat there is not a stream. There is no stream next week because Genevieve is visiting the UK. Genevieve is visiting the UK and we are hanging out. I think we're at the ballet actually, if I'm not mistaken. I believe we are at the ballet. We're going to go and watch a ballet. So, yeah, not next week, the week after. Okay, with that all being said, goodbye.
Wow.